they have found the identity. They have found the alleged supposed identity of this person. Now, she sued Shannon Sharpe for $50 million under the name Jane Doe. And so it's Tony Busby. It's a typical tactic that he does use, is to have the plaintiffs proceed as Jane Doe until the judge makes them not be Jane Doe anymore. That's pretty much his tactic, from what I've seen when he's suing these rich and powerful celebrities, athletes, whatever. Well, Shannon Sharpe then came out and put out a press statement that was written by his lawyer, Lanny J. Davis. And Lanny said the girl's name is Gabriella Zuniga. So everybody starts looking for her. And then they find this one poor girl. Her name is the same name and it's spelled the same. And she's like, that's not me. That's not me. Everybody that just followed me, please unfollow me. She's like, please unfollow me. So it wasn't her. But now, according to a few different sources, and I'm going to pull them up now, they have found the correct Instagram account for Gabriella. So just as Shannon said in his video, she goes by Carly, if this is true. Who is Gabriella Zuniga? I don't know how to say her last name. The OF star who sued Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe faces a lawsuit. The accuser, known as Jane Doe. Internet users speculate Gabby Zuniga is the accuser. Well, no, we don't just, internet users aren't speculating it. It's that the lawyer, Lanny J. Davis, is being accredited with putting the woman's name out there. And then Tony Busby did come out and say that they did name her. So I don't think it's just the speculating. I think what internet users are speculating about is that this specific woman right here, the she is Carly, is Shannon Sharpe's former whatever. Now, some people were calling her an ex-girlfriend. I really don't think she is an ex-girlfriend. I think she is an ex-you-know-what. So what does this article say? For weeks, the $50 million lawsuit featured a mystery woman. That's also not true. Who wrote this article? See, a lot of the stuff in this article is not true already. Like literally just in the top the first two sentences I read had not true stuff in them. So I don't know how seriously we can take this article. Now, internet detectives and a few hip-hop gossip outlets believe they've uncovered who she is. Enter Gabby Zuniga, a 20-year-old OF model whose name is suddenly at the center of the most talked about legal case in sports media. Again, not true. She's not 20. She's like 22 or 23 at this point. I think she's 23 by now. So again, she's not 20. She used to be 20 when they were dating or hooking up or whatever. Here's everything we know so far about her, where the information is coming from, and why the internet believes she's the woman behind the allegations. Gabriella Zuniga, the woman rumored to be behind the Shannon Sharpe lawsuit. So this is World Star. Now, World Star, I'll have you know, is being sued by WAC 100 right now for defamation. And it's because specifically they posted a documentary about WAC 100 that had some allegedly defamatory statements in it. Now, World Star Hip Hop has tried to get that defamation case dismissed. They tried to get it dismissed as a slap suit, anti-slap, but the court has allowed WAC 100's case to move forward. So again, take what World Star says with a grain of salt, but that's what they're saying. That this woman right here we're looking at is the Gabby Zuniga. Again, Gabriella Zuniga is not 20 years old. Look, here she is with a birthday cake. This is it. She is Carly. She's here with a birthday cake. The birthday cake says 22. This was from December. Okay, so in this December, she should turn 23. So she's 22. I'm going to have to blur out some of this picture. She's not 20 years old. According to reports, Gabby is suing Shannon Sharpe. The name first started trending on Twitter and TikTok shortly after the news of Shannon Sharpe lawsuit broke. According to viral posts from hip-hop accounts like World Star Hip Hop on site. Do you know that a company named Media Lab AI owns World Star Hip Hop? I did not know that till yesterday. She's being identified as the woman suing Sharpe for emotional abuse, and secretly recording intimate moments. Now look at No Jumper. Very interesting that he would enter the chat because he webs in here. I wanted to show y'all some of the webbing over here. I found some very interesting things that I haven't seen anybody talking about. I don't know if anybody will talk about it because you have to pretty much have it set up like I do on this web to like see the connection. But maybe people on the inside, I really don't know. The identity and the photos of Shannon Sharpe's accuser have been revealed. They keep saying she's 20 years old, but literally according to the exact same Instagram account, she's 22. She's not 20. I don't know why everybody keeps saying that. So yes, he did offer to basically pay her off $10 million. to keep quiet during mediation last month. Here's why the internet believes this is the woman suing Shannon Sharpe. They're calling her a 20-year-old. Like, who put out the press release that she's 20? Because she's definitely, if you're talking about this girl right here, that woman is 22. Okay. Does it really matter if he did the things that he's accused of doing? Does it really matter 2 years, 20 or 22? No, but yes, it does, because it is clear to me that the Media Matters, the PR representatives for somebody, put out that she was 20 years old, because it just keeps being repeated. Look, this is the Instagram. Got my sanity stolen in Mexico. Also my passport. This Instagram says she's 22. So it's the same kind of reminding me of whenever they were trying to astroturf me, whenever they were trying to set me up, I believe, to be sued for defamation. They were trying to set it up and make it appear that I said something I did not say. They were trying to set it up and make it appear that I was doing things I was not doing. And to do that, they did a huge media push. I don't even want to think about how much money somebody spent, because for a while, when you put BJ investigates into Google, it was the first thing that popped up. And for a while, whenever you put who is celebrity B or Jay-Z sued, news articles playing my clip would surface. But then these news, like, all you would have to do is just watch my clip to see what I said. But then what would happen is, like, the titles to the news articles and the actual news articles themselves said stuff that was, like, very sinister that I did not say. They were attributing it to me as if I didn't have the video sitting right there what I actually said. So this is reminding me of that. They also called me BJ Investigates in every title, but the actual account that put out the video was this account, ThatSurpriseWitness. So it wasn't BJ Investigates at all. It indicated to me that it was a AstroTurf Media Matters push, where it's like they just pushed it out. The same title. BJ Investigates leaks clues. BJ Investigates accuses. BJ Investigates claims. BJ Investigates finds. None of that was true. I was reading a court document. That was on the screen. So this is reminding me of, it's like 20 years old, 20 years old, 20 years old, 20 years old, but she's not. She's not 20 years old. All you have to do is look at the Instagram account that y'all are posting to see that she's 22 years old. So it seems to me that this is a Media Matters push to put this woman out there. Her name is trending across social media, with hundreds of users analyzing her posts, reposting clips of her and Sharpe together. In civil lawsuits like this, plaintiffs sometimes use Jane Doe to protect their identity. It's not that standard. I mean, they're trying to make it seem like it's standard. It's not that standard. It's actually hard. There's 2 people right now, 2 days ago, just now appealed in the Southern District of New York, who are suing Diddy as Jane Doe's Busby clients. And they're appealing because the judge said you cannot go forward as Jane Doe. No, you cannot. You have to say your name. Well, they've appealed and they really want to go forward as Jane Doe. Now, sometimes there are good reasons to go forward as a Jane Doe. I'm not saying nobody should ever be a Jane Doe. But the way that this Times of India, which is very importantly not an American publication, and so we shouldn't really be taking Times of India's word on what's standard and legal practice, because they don't even have a fucking First Amendment over there. Y'all know India is my favorite place. I love India. I love the Indian people. I love Indian food. I love the culture and all of that. But I do not want to not have a First Amendment. Okay. And that's what's going on over there in India. So I'm not trying to have all of this India Times telling us what goes on in our system and then it's wrong, because that's just not what's going on. Now, Shannon Sharpe has threatened also to sue for defamation Tony Busby and this Gabriella Zuniga girl. Okay, so I may have to blur quite a bit of this out, unfortunately, but I do want to take a look at her profile. The one that they're purporting is the Gabriella, the Carly. I don't know if it is or not. They don't even got her age right. So I'm not saying it is. I'm telling you what, No Jumper, World Star, and Times of India has reported on. I don't know. I'm not saying this is her for sure. But let's just take their word for a moment and say it is her. Let's look at this Instagram account that they have purported is hers. All right, so here's the top. I have it zoomed in because, it's pretty spicy. But look at this right here. She's followed by CI Swimwear. Okay, now if you look at her following as well, like who is she actually following? She's also following CI Swimwear. Now she's also following Tony Busby, that's her lawyer. But I've seen CI Swimwear before. CI Swimwear is seemingly the swimwear company for a content creator management firm. It's a content farm type management firm type thing called Creators Inc. Creators Inc. has come up twice recently very recently, like in the last couple months, Creators Inc. has come up twice. One time it came up with Vicky. Whoa, Vicky. She's in the I'll put some pictures up right here. Whoa, Vicky is in the Creators Inc. house. She's calling the Creators Inc. founder and CEO her boss. So Whoa Vicky is connected here. She was going to launch a podcast called the Whoa Podcast or something. I don't know. I'll put it up here.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to my new podcast called The Whoa Show. And today we got a special guest.
Whoa, the Whoa Show. Yeah, man. Shout out to Vicky for having me in here. She says I'm her first guest. I'm her first guest?
Period.
Why me? Like, why am I the first?
Thank you.
She's going to launch a podcast and was going to be in this house. Now, Creators Inc. came up again in the Bree Stern, Andrew Tate investigation. Okay. That is where Bree Stern had also, this is not the first ex-boyfriend that she sued. Remember Bree Stern, the one suing Andrew Tate? We'll get into the web. But Bree Stern had dated another guy, or, I don't know, dated another guy, and she claimed he stole from her, but then she was like, basically like, I don't know, it appears like innocent until proven guilty. I don't know the full story, but it appears like sort of like extortion type behaviors to me, in my opinion, innocent until proven guilty. Cause she was like, if you don't give me the $30,000 in the next today, I'm going to call immigration on you and all this stuff. So Creators Inc. came up with Bree Stern as well, because she dated another guy, Brian Paul now, who is friendly, very good friends with none other than No Jumper Adam 16, Gray Mason 22. We'll look at the web if this is confusing. But this Creators Inc. keeps coming up. And now I have this girl. She is Carly, who Times of India is trying to tell me is the girl, the lady that's suing Shannon Sharp. Okay. She's not only followed by CI Swimwear, which is the Creators Inc. swimwear, but she is also following them. Okay. So what is CI Swimwear? Let's take a look at their Instagram. Again, I'm not sure I'll be able to show you everything on this Instagram, but this is their Instagram page. CI Swimwear, swim club powered by creators. Apply to become a CI babe. Okay. And look, you can see right here, Carly is following. So also interestingly to me, like a lot of these girls look exactly the same. Like when I saw this girl, I thought that was Carly. It's not. That one's name is Giselle. I don't know if they're going to the same esthetician that's giving them the same fillers. I don't know if these people are all in a commune and they got the same daddy and or the same mama. I don't know if they're possessed by the same demon. I do not know. I do not know. But these women all look alike, like a lot alike. And I'm not talking about like blonde hair, tanned up, like surged up. No, I'm talking about like this specific look. They like a lot of them look like this is what that Carly girl looks like. Look at her. Tell me that don't look like she could be sisters with this one. Tell me that one don't look like she could have been sisters with this one, and this one. That's different people. Those are all different people. Strange. Anyway, so what is CI Swimwear? Let's go to their page. It's a swimwear brand and they do modeling shows. They do, it's like, this. But what is Creators Inc.? Creators Inc., I believe, let me just be clear on this one. I believe Creators Inc. is the owner of CI Swimwear, because whenever they have swim week fashion shoots, Creators Inc., the CI Swimwear is there. So I think CI means Creators Inc. Now, importantly, I looked up CI Swimwear on the regular business entity searches that I do, and I did not find that it exists. So like I said earlier, I do think it's doing business as something else. I do not think that it is listed as CI Swimwear. I think CI Swimwear is just doing business as name. I really don't know, but like powered by creators, whatever. Well, let's just back it up and look at like, what is Creators Inc. And what I want to do is just look only at their Instagram, because I believe Creators Inc. owns CI Swimwear, I believe, or they have some type of controlling interest in it. Now, Creators Inc. has also something to do with Blueface, I think, if I remember correctly. Okay, so here is Creators Inc. Look at their pinned row. This is the head guy over there at Creators Inc. What does that title right there say? Creators Inc. is the global leader of OF monetization. Let's take a listen to what this guy has to say. He's the leader of this place. This poor girl, and a lot of these girls, they look like they are, like this is a hell of a drug type thing. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I mean, I'm definitely not a doctor. I don't know. But like, let's take a listen to what this guy has to say about being the leader, the global leader, the leader in the world leader of OF monetization is what he's advertising Creators Inc. as. Let's take a listen. Oh, wait a second. What in the hell is Harvey Levin, the founder and creator of TMZ, doing here? Advertising for Creators Inc. Huh. Who knew? I don't know what they're doing here. Take a listen.
Player in town, fans. We are the global leader in fans monetization and celebrity paywall management. Creators Inc. represents, I'd say, about 60% of the 0.01%. We are thrilled to manage probably 90% of all the A-list content creators, celebrities that you've ever heard of on OnlyFans.
I made more money than my entire UFC career.
Hollywood has a new power player in town. Fans.
Hollywood has a new power player in town. OF. Coming from Harvey Levin, the founder of TMZ, arguably, I mean, the propaganda tabloid of our time. Okay, so what is Creators Inc? Let's just get an idea of what is Creators Inc. Why do I care? Because I'm pretty sure Creators Inc. is CI Swimwear. And CI Swimwear is associated with both Carly, aka Gabriella, and Bree Stern. I think it's now is a good time to pull up the web so I stop sounding like schizophrenic. So what we're looking at here is the AstroTurf PR campaign from hell. And I added it onto the same exact one where this is the web I started whenever these people were trying to do this to me. These are all of the places that posted that false story, including Nancy Grace. And then Hermania, they had dressing up like Vivian Kensington because I believe they were trying to put the collective consciousness idea out there that I am Elle Woods type, because they were advertising me as like swearing in on the Elle Woods on the VHS, the Legally Blonde VHS. So what does Vivian Kensington look like? What does she wear? And she wears clothes exactly like this bitch right here. And all of a sudden this bitch is going on Nancy Grace. Okay, so this is where we started. Okay, and then I went down here because there was some strange stuff going on with the Andrew Tate and the Bree Stern, right? This is my Andrew Tate, Bree Stern collection down here. Now, don't forget, Adam, Grand Mason 1622, was very involved in this web because he was at all these parties with these OF girls, these OF models, women. I mean, some of them are in their 40s. Let's stop with the girls thing, okay? These are women. They're grown-ups. They're grown-ups making decisions. But this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Is this getting a little bit confusing to me? What is OF? What is it? Hold on. Don't worry. I'm going to get all my thoughts out. But anyway, so yeah, the Bree, the one suing Andrew Tate, this her right here. She used to date this guy right here, Ryan. And Ryan is really, see, she's licking tongues with him right here. He's really good friends with Adam Grand Mason 16. See, this is where they were together on a podcast. Bree and Ryan together on this podcast. And then they have a mansion party, which is just an ORGY party, which they say, not me. I didn't make that up. Adam 16, Grand Mason 22 is there. So this whole thing is very strongly imprinted by Creators Inc. This Ryan Pownow guy is like Creators Inc. hooked in. Okay. So that brings us to over here. All right. Who is Bree Stern's lawyer? Well, that's Tony Busby. Now, we already know a little bit about Tony Busby because from up here, Tony Busby was representing a Jane Doe suing Jay-Z. The Jane Doe suing the Jay-Z, she has now withdrawn her lawsuit, but she was suing him and she got an exclusive interview. Exclusive. Remember, she was sitting there. It was like, how did they even find this Jane Doe? How'd they even find her? We don't even know who she is. Remember the one suing Jay-Z? She got an exclusive interview. Again, Tony Busby is her lawyer. She got an exclusive interview with this one right here, Chloe Malos. Well, just soon enough, same lawyer representing this client gets a exclusive interview with Chloe Malos. And then she goes on the internet and posts the interview. Well, now we have a Jane Doe again suing, this time Shannon Sharpe. And these two right here, let me zoom in. These are where I found the connections that I find strange. And it's beyond just the lawyer. And I want to show y'all, because if you will remember, I made a video on my other channel, BJ Investigates. If you haven't watched it, you really should, because I'm starting to have a little bit of an inkling. If you're not a nuanced thinker, like if you have a hard time finding a gray area, seeing both sides of things, it might be a good opportunity for you right now to click off this video because I think you might be offended at the things I'm about to say, and I need to be able to speak freely. Okay, so goodbye. Okay, so it's just adults left here now. It's just people that can critically think. Okay, cool. What are the chances? What are the chances, for example, that there may be a sprawling extortion honeypot operation or 2 or 3 operating amongst the rich and powerful and famous, and right before they're about to sign huge deals, or right as they are winning legal cases that were filed against them, then what are the chances that a beautiful, sexy, wild baddie just falls in your path? Just falls in your path, just your perfect woman, saying everything you've ever wanted them to say, doing everything you've ever wanted them to do. And what if the things that you've ever wanted people to say and do might be a little bit raunchy? What if there might be something that if caught on camera, would make you look really bad and would maybe like get you fired from ESPN, or would maybe get you investigated for human trafficking by the federal government, or would maybe make you just look really bad and would maybe eliminate you as a competition for your business competitors, or maybe somebody you pissed off? Like, what are the chances that something like that could be happening? What are the chances? And what are the chances that if something like that was happening, it would be happening with an organization that claims and boasts to represent 60% of the 0.1%? These are questions. These aren't statements. These are questions. Questions cannot be defamation. I'm asking questions. I don't know anything as a fact. I don't know anything more than y'all do. Nothing more than you do. I just only know what I've just shown you. So there are a few more things actually that I know, but like, okay, so here's Bree Stern. This is a modeling bikini competition or show, right? She likes to do these. This is back from 2023, 2 years ago. Here's Bree. She's walking in a Creators Inc. fashion show. Look, just right back there, Creators Inc. So she was at Creators Inc. fashion show. Okay, interesting. All right, what do we have here? Also, there is this picture right here where Creators Inc. itself posted Bree Stern on their profile around the same time. Look, Creators Inc. making waves at Swim Week. Bree Stern set the beach on fire, slaying the runway. Okay, so Creators Inc. indisputably puts these girls on as models. So once you walk in a Creators Inc. fashion show, aren't you a model at that point? So then whenever the Tate brothers need a model, you can go. But what if, I'm just asking you to think about what if it really is true that at least some of these men really are nasty. Look, listen, I mean, you're not going to catch me saying that. I'm a kink shamer. I am a kink shamer. This is not a don't kink shame zone, okay? I say it all the time. We got to get back to something what looks like resembling morals. We have to, because this is what's happening. This is what's happening. People like me want to believe victims, okay? Because I know for certain that women are abused by men sometimes. Of course, men are abused by women. Men are abused by men. Women are abused by women. Of course, this goes every way. I'm not trying to say even one more than the other, listen, I think what I'm trying to say, okay? What I'm trying to say is we have reached a critical moment. And by we, I mean, in my estimation, maybe y'all aren't there. Maybe y'all been there. Maybe I'm just joining, okay? But I feel like it's getting more and more difficult to tell, and it shouldn't be difficult to tell, what is a non-consensual SUL encounter? And hear me out. Legally, the legal standard. This is not my moral standard. Okay, this is the legal standard. So if you want to sue somebody for let's say R, in most jurisdictions, it requires the assailant to know that the victim is not consenting. Okay, this is the case in Harvey Weinstein. This is the case in Diddy. The person doing the assaulting has to be aware, and it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the person, the victim, alleged victim, was not consenting. Okay, fine. So enter OF. About 5 years ago, it blew up during a certain virus. You know what? People were in their house, didn't have nothing to do. And certain things, certain industries really boomed. One of the industries that boomed is OF. It's one of the industries that boomed. And you can imagine what the reasons were. But now that we're trying to push back into normal, life, which I don't know if we'll ever go back to the before times, but it seems like the OF of it all isn't going anywhere. And in fact, and indeed, I heard an alarming statistic the other day. I do not know if it is true, that 1 in 10 women from the age of 18 to 23 is on OF, like has a profile on there. Most of them never make any money. And then so they end up, sometimes going into more and more exposing type of stuff. This girl, Bree, she had an OF. She deleted. She don't have no more. Okay. So let's say, now I'm a kink shamer. Okay. I shame kinks. I do. If they're weird, I do. And if they're weird according to who? Me. If I think they're weird, I shame them. Yes, I do. So let's just say somebody has one of these proclivities to where they like certain stuff. Let's say it's somebody that has certain fantasies of our fantasy, let's say. Again, I shame. If you have that fantasy, to me, that feels something's wrong spiritually and or psychologically. That's my opinion. Okay. That doesn't mean you should be locked up in a conservatorship or something. And I believe still, even though I think it's wrong and messed up, I don't think it should be illegal. I do believe 2 consenting adults, if they want to be depraved in their own bedroom, go do it over there. If y'all want to do that in your own bedroom, go do it over there. But I'm not going to be nice. It's this over here. This channel is not kink-free shame zone. Okay. Let's say somebody has a particular, I don't know, fantasy. And OF is crawling with millions of creators who will do that fantasy. Do you see why I kink shame? Because now we've reached a point to where it's like, all right, well, I went on her OF. She had on there that she did customs. I wanted a custom video of her calling me a big insert color, insert phrase. And she made me a video. And then, we started texting and I started paying her for SUL texts. And then, I invited her over and then, whatever. Or the way that they call corn, graffiti video shoots for, P rhymes with corn. They call that a photo shoot now. They're calling these people models. They're calling them actresses. They're calling them performers. They're calling them adult entertainers. And I see why, even right here on this particular where we are right now, I can't fully say, even certain words. I do understand why the language has moved. But, and please don't take anything I'm saying right now as if I am trying to defend anybody in particular. Like, okay, Shannon Sharpe is innocent. Andrew Tate is innocent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know. And a big reason I don't know is because of this shifting world we live in. I am a 34-year-old woman. I am in a monogamous relationship that I will be in until the day that I die. Or he die. I better go first. I'm in a monogamous relationship. I'm a young woman. And it wasn't that long ago I was fully in the hashtag woke world. I was living in it, laughing in it, loving in it. Actually, I was miserable. But I kind of got sucked into it because I thought, that this was the way to be compassionate. Like I had to be, these are the compassionate people or whatever, because like, why would you be kink shaming adults? And why would you be trying to tell people what to do with their body? And like a lot of that stuff I still agree with and I still believe. But some of this ideology got kind of really, really way off in the left field where it don't make sense. Like, for example, let's take Shannon Sharpe, for example, saying that what they were doing with these women was consensual. Might have been a little freaky deaky, but it was consensual. And so we just freaky. We have fantasies, we have role plays, and we just freaky. Okay, fine. Let's go down that path. What if the fantasy role play was something like race? Okay. What lens are you supposed to use in the woke world for this? And I think that's where we are. How are you supposed to analyze this? Who has the power in this situation? Because, on the one hand, you got to do the whole intersectionality analysis. On the one hand, Shannon Sharpe is a rich, famous man with a lot of achievements. But on the other hand, He's a black man. I don't know if he's like particularly highly educated. And then you have this lady, Gabriela Zuniga, who appears to be a white lady. I don't know her last name. Maybe she's like, I don't know. I don't want to guess anybody's race. But let's just say, because of the allegations and because of the supposed purported text messages that have come out, it appears that some of the race stuff was a part of the fantasy. Now, I kink shame. I'm kink shaming. Okay. I think if that's something that you're actively wanting to pursue, that's something you need to explore inside your own shadow self. That needs something you need to talk to the Lord about. I really believe that. But I also believe grown adults ought to be able to do whatever they want to do. So if we live in a time where someone can sell a service like race fantasy play in an sexual way, and that's legal, and we're not supposed to kink shame, and we're not supposed to shame them, then how can we live in the same place at the same time and say that something's wrong with that? Aren't you kink shaming? Shannon Sharp can't have a kink now? This is why I say I kink shame. Y'all get on me. I'm no kink shaming. Yes, I do. The poop poops and the pee peeps. Yes, I do. Chuck Berry fell down the same freaking trap because they are into nasty stuff. And when the public finds out about your nasty stuff you're into, it makes you look nasty. And I'm talking about Andrew Tate as well. Yes, I am. Because what I think is going on, in my opinion alert, is that these men are purchasing services from women who may or may not be setting them up the whole time, by the way, as honeypots, which is a separate side theory, who may or may not be setting them up the whole time. But they're buying a service. The women are selling a service, customs, adult entertainment. They're calling themselves mutually beneficial companions. Looking from the outside, looking in, I don't even know what that is. What is it? Is it a sugar baby? Is it the oldest profession in the world? Is it a mutually beneficial agreement? Is it a business contract? What is it? It certainly is not a traditional relationship. You have this age dynamic thing going on. What I will say is this. When I'm looking at some of these purported victims' Instagram accounts, not their OFs, because I don't go on there and I ain't buying nobody's OF's membership, okay? But when I look at these purported victims' profiles, I see women who are selling a fantasy. They are. They are selling a fantasy. It's on the beach. It's in the bathing suits. They're young. They're beautiful. They're on the runways. They're on the catwalks. And the way that OF works, just so y'all are aware, it's kind of like a pyramid. It's kind of like a pyramid, I'm not saying it's a pyramid scheme, although it may actually be. I'm not an expert on that. But like, if you sign up somebody up under your OF name, you get a percentage of their revenues. Did you know that? Maybe it's not like that anymore. That's how it used to be. That's what I heard. So you have people like Adam Grant Mason, for example, managing. This is another one of these words, right? Managing. What is it called when you manage someone who's selling their body and you get a percentage? Any old heads in the room? Anybody born before 1989 in the room? What is the name? What's another name for the person who manages and gets a percentage and makes sure that everything's okay and she's safe of the OF creator's revenue from selling SUL services, including customs, including pictures, including videos? What's another name besides manager? Okay. So why don't we start looking real quick, just for a minute? You know what I mean? Just real quick. Let's glance in the direction of the people who are maybe the global leaders. Maybe the global leaders of OF monetization and creator paywalls in the world. Why is it that these two people purporting to be victims both have relationships, connections, I should say, with the CI swimwear, and both of them are with Tony Busby, whose whole entire business model seemingly seems to rest on first going through these long-term mediations with high-profile individuals before going to court. Hey, look, we won't sue you. We won't play this video of you. We won't play this S tape of you in the media if you come to mediation. Shannon Sharpe said he spent 6 weeks in that mediation. Or maybe it was Busby. One of them said there was 6-week-long mediation. Shannon Sharpe offered that girl $10 million and she didn't take it. $10 million and she didn't take it, knowing she was going to have to go out in the media, knowing she was going to have to get dragged across the coals, knowing that videos just like this were going to get made, and way worse, because I think I'm pretty sympathetic to these people. But that brings me to the question. Let's say she wanted to pull out. Let's say tomorrow. Let's say today she's like, you know what? Change my mind. I want that 10 mil. I don't want to go through all this anymore. Just kidding. I want the 10 million now. Can she do that? How much percentage of the 10 million does Tony Busby get? You know, start thinking about the financial implications of this. Bree Stern only just met Andrew Tate in 2024. This one only just met Shannon Sharpe in 2023. These ain't high school girlfriends. These are women who met these men after they were famous. The men obviously wanted to date them because of what they looked like, but also, could it be because they're selling a fantasy? Could it be because their managers are selling a fantasy? Why is it that Bree Stern seemingly has a history of shaking men down like this? In my opinion, it's what it looks like to me. That Vanderwoodson boy did not need that money. He did not need that money. Why would he steal money from her? And now they're both being represented by this guy. I don't know. It's just things to think about. It's things to think about, and it's things I know nobody else online is going to be talking about. So I got to put it out there. That's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, and neither is speculation. Everybody's innocent till proven guilty. Everybody's not liable until proven otherwise. But I have some questions, and it revolves around whether there's large-scale honeypot operations going on the elite men of this country, and it is specifically preying on their SUL propensities and vulnerabilities. Y'all need prayers. Y'all need the Lord. Y'all need to find the way, the truth, and the light. That's all I'm going to say for this one.